Hey guys, welcome back to my channel if you've been here before, and if you haven't, welcome to my channel. So I asked you guys over on Instagram if you would like to see a video centered around the Oracle decks that I own. And I believe it was a unanimous vote for yes. So I thought I would make this video today of the lovely Oracle decks that are part of my collection and give them the spotlight for once, because I feel like I mainly talk about my tarot decks in most of my videos. I don't even think I have a video where I just am mainly talking about the Oracle decks that I own. So I figured for this video I would do just that. And I figured I should also probably talk about it because I feel like if it wasn't for Oracle decks, specifically this one, the Mystical Wisdom Oracle deck, I wouldn't even be involved with tarot like I have been over the past 6 months. I have mentioned in previous videos that I have always kind of been intrigued by tarot. We even had the Aquarian deck, which I still have, always sort of hanging around somewhere in the house, and it definitely piqued my interest for sure. But it took a lot of years for me to truly sit down with tarot and want to fully learn all about it. And I feel like I wouldn't be at this point today if it wasn't for Oracle decks. So the very first Oracle deck that I even held was lent to me by my boss. She had a angel deck and she brought it in one day because I was talking to her about tarot and how I was kind of interested in it at one point in my life. We were just kind of talking about just a whole bunch of like spiritual type of stuff, and she mentioned how she has some Oracle decks, and I told her that I have never seen an Oracle deck. I had never used one, so she ended up bringing it in for me and letting me borrow it, and I spent some time with it, and I really enjoyed working with the cards. So eventually I had to give it back to her and then I went online to find my own deck, and that's when I came across the very beautiful Mystical Wisdom card deck. So these cards are stunning. The colors are insane. The detail is so beautiful, and they're extremely easy to read. And I feel like every single card is relatable in some way to my life, as they probably are to everyone. But I just definitely click with this deck and can relate with it on multiple different levels. Even though I do have other Oracle decks now, I still tend to reach for this one quite often because it is definitely one of my favorites to use. Even the backings of the cards are so cute. I just love everything about this deck, from the cards to the guidebook to the feeling I have when I use them, how we just mesh well together. I love this deck. So I definitely feel like this was a great first purchase to kind of really get me into the world of the Oracle cards. So because I loved this deck so much, obviously I wanted to see what other types of decks there were out there and see if they could even compare to the Mystical Wisdom card deck. And then that's when I stumbled across the Saltwater reading cards, It's kind of a personal connection that I have with these cards and the reason for why I purchased them in the first place. I work within the aquarium trade. I am also a saltwater hobbyist, so I actually get to spend every single day working and hanging out and just spending time and learning about a lot of the creatures that are in this deck. So that is what drew me into this deck, but also just the artwork of it is so unique. It's like nothing I have ever seen before, with the colorful, I'm not sure what it's called, but the dotting of the paint and all of the different colors that just blend beautifully and work beautifully together to create such stunning images for each of the cards. And because I'm familiar with a lot of these sea creatures, I feel like Laura definitely connects the animal with like the description very, very well. This is probably my favorite card within the deck. I really, really love lionfish. I think that they have insane, unique personalities, and I love them. So obviously I am drawn to this card. And the connection that she's made with strength representing corals, I think is spot on. Corals are insane little creatures, and a lot of people don't even know that they're an actual animal. They think that they're just a rock, but they're a living thing as well. And they go through so much within their surroundings, and they have to be adaptable because it's just constantly changing out in the waters. Nothing stays the same every day. It's something different, and it's something that they have to learn to adapt to and make it work for them. So I think they're just incredible things. I've even had the pleasure of working with some stingrays before, and I've bonded with a lot of them to the point where I felt like we've like had a friendship together, and we've built a level of trust between one another. And just to be able to work with these kinds of animals and actually be able to experience something like that has definitely been something that I cherish within my life, and it's definitely something that I will never forget. And even the backings of the cards are really cute with the little school of fish going around. Another deck that I am very happy to have a part of my collection. I actually thought that I had more oracle decks, and then as I started pulling them off my shelf, I realized that it's not as many as I thought. So I purchased the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck because I've seen a lot of people use it online. It definitely looked like something I could resonate with and click with, and I was absolutely right. There's just something about this deck, and I feel like it's so relatable. It's so diverse in so many different ways that it's such a pleasure to use. It's so nice to be able to use a deck and be able to like see yourself in it, you know, or to be able to see your friends or your family within a deck. That's not something that you find all the time. I feel like they definitely try to incorporate everyone within this deck. And to me, that is a very beautiful thing. And not only do I love the artwork, but even just the messages within each of the cards. They're very relatable and easy to understand. And even just the feel of the cards too. It's like a matte feeling on the cards, and I don't know why I'm all for the matte finish. But it's such a very positive, very uplifting deck. I also tend to use this one quite often as well. This one and the Mystical Wisdom are probably the two that I use the most. So I like to use oracle decks. I don't usually just do readings with just oracle decks. I usually tend to incorporate them into my tarot readings. I feel like they are very good for clarifying things. I think they're very good for any additional messages that may need to come through. There definitely has been days where I don't feel like using the tarot and I kind of just want a little bit of a quick message of the day type of situation, so I will pull an oracle card. But yeah, I usually tend to use them alongside the tarot. And last but not least, we have the very cute Moonology Oracle deck. So I got this one because I really liked how it incorporated astrology and the horoscopes. That's something that I'm not really knowledgeable in. I don't know a lot about horoscopes. All I really know about is my own horoscope. So I definitely wanted to be more involved with that. Also, I'm obsessed with the moon in general, so to have a deck that centers itself around the moon was definitely one that called to me. Again, I love the messages that are given through this deck. I feel like if I'm in the mood for a more complex or in-depth sort of message to go along with my tarot cards, then I usually tend to go for the Moonology Oracle deck. But yeah, I feel like if I'm looking for something a bit more intricate, then I will reach for this deck instead. Again, very lovely artwork. Loving the colors. I feel like that's a big thing for me when I'm choosing decks is the colors. I'm very drawn to vibrant colors, but not like over the top, you know? I don't know, it just always catches my eye, and I feel like a lot of people could probably relate to that. Who doesn't love a very colorful, pretty, vibrant, lively deck? I feel like the Moonology cards are the ones that I will go for more when I want to sort of connect with myself more on like a deeper spiritual level. Whereas the Believe in Your Own Magic or the Mystical Wisdom, I feel like they're more, I don't want to say not as deep, but like more so good reminder cards, or I don't know, they're just sort of, to me, like just lighter in a sense. Whereas I feel like the Moonology cards tend to dig a little deeper within you. I feel like it definitely reaches more of that spiritual side of me. So I definitely want to expand on my oracle deck collection, but I definitely love every single deck that I currently own. Yes, I tend to use the Mystical Wisdom and the Believe in Your Own Magic ones slightly more, but I definitely feel like there's still a good balance between all of these. Like I said, sometimes when I want a more deeper or complex sort of reading, I will reach for the Moonology cards, and then other times when I want to just connect with my sea creature friends more often, then I'll go for the saltwater reading cards. So I love each of these decks for different reasons, and I don't regret any of these purchases. I am super happy that I have these decks in my collection. So yeah, there you have it. I wanted to just share a bit of my history with Oracle cards with you guys and the ones that I currently have in my collection. And if you want a more in-depth look at each of the cards, I have flip-throughs and unboxings for each deck, I'm pretty sure. So if you head on over to my videos section, you definitely should be able to find a video for each one of these. So yeah, there you have it. I wanted to just share a bit of my Oracle card history with you guys, how I got into Oracle cards, how they kind of led me into tarot, and yeah, show you guys the awesome decks that make up my Oracle collection. And just a reminder, I'm also on Instagram. I always leave the link in the description box below if you wanted to go and check it out. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you guys next time.